In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do a card flip animation in SwiftUI. Now the primary problem that comes with flipping a card in SwiftUI is that the content is also flipped when you flip the card. So that means that if you put some text on the card, when you flip it, the text will actually look mirrored. And so today we're going to solve that problem as well as make a really nifty flashcard module for us to use in our projects. So first thing is to create our flashcard struct. And so I'm going to declare this as a view. So don't forget your body property. And to pass in the front and back content of the flashcard, I'm going to use generics. So I'm going to declare two generic types, front and back. And I'm going to declare both of those as views. Now we have to have some local properties storing the content passed in so that we can use it in the flashcard. And so I'm going to make two here, front and back. And our initializer has to take in view builder content and pass it into our local properties. So I'm going to do that here. And don't forget escaping. Okay, and in the initializer, we're going to simply be setting front and back to the content passed in. Oops. Okay, and then I'm also going to have a separate state variable, a boolean that's going to keep track if the card is flipped or not. So I'm going to declare that here. It's just going to be called flipped and initially set to false. And so basically in our body, I'm going to create a z stack, and then so based on whether the card is flipped or not, I'm going to show the front or the back. So in my z stack, I'm going to have if statement, if flipped, then show the back. If it's not flipped, then show the front. And this is looking good so far. So I'm going to add a few stylistic changes to our body here. So I'm going to declare the width, or yeah, the height to be 200, and the max width to be infinity. I'm going to have a background of the color white, and an overlay of a simple rectangular background, or sorry, rectangular border. So stroke color.black, and we're going to say line width 2. And add some padding here and there. So now let's take a look at how our flashcard looks so far. Oops, we actually had to use it in content view. And I'm going to pass in a text view of just front and then back for the back. Here we go. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So we can't do anything with it yet, but now I'm going to add functionality so that when you tap on it, it flips the card. So on tap gesture for the body, and basically we're going to call this function down here called flip flashcard. That's going to flip it for us. And I think all we need to do is toggle flipped down here. Let's try that out. Okay, and so now that when we click it, it shows the corresponding content. So that's good, but now we want to do the rotation animation. So the first approach that most people take is to do to declare a state variable called like flashcard rotation or something. So we're just going to do that here. Flashcard rotation. And then they're going to do something like a rotation 3D effect upon the whole content of the flashcard. So down here, something like this. And this is going to be on the y-axis. So have axis, x is 0, y is 1, and z is 0. Okay, and oops, spelled that wrong. And now down here we're going to add an animation. Let's do a linear animation with a duration of 0.5 seconds. And we're gonna first of all add 180 degrees to flashcard rotation, and then also flip the boolean or toggle the boolean. Okay, and let's test that out. And so, oh, it flips, but the issue is you see how the text is mirrored. So that's what we don't want. And the issue here is that it's also rotating the content, which is not what we want. So we have to implement a way in order to reverse this. And so the solution to this, which I find really elegant, is to just rotate the content itself. And so I'm going to declare a content rotation variable up here. And before all the styling of the flashcard, I'm going to add a rotation effect. And this is going to allow us only to rotate the content, but not the whole body of the flashcard, which will allow us to achieve our desired effect. So here we want to use content rotation. And the axis will be y as well. Okay, and then down here, how do we know when to flip the content, right? Because if we flip it too early or too late, the user is obviously going to see we're flipping it. And so the idea behind this is that when the flashcard is rotated exactly 90 degrees, that's when all the content will be completely hidden from the viewer. It's completely obscured. And so that's exactly the point where we need to flip the content as well as change which content is being showed, either the back or front. And so to do this, we have to do it in a very specific way. We have to actually use with animation to set a delay. And so this is going to happen really at an instantaneous time, right? So let's do like 0.001, something that's so fast that the user can't see it's happening. And the delay is going to be half of 0.5. So let's quickly declare an animation time constant up here. And pass that in here. And then the delay here will be animation time divided by 2. Because that's exactly right. That's half the animation and half the rotation. And half the rotation is 90 degrees. And so that's exactly when we want to flip the flashcard or flip the content. Okay, and then here do we just want to add 180 to content rotation and also toggle flip. So we're going to remove this one here because we don't want it to interfere where the user can see. And so if we run this now, we can see that a really nicely smooth transition displays both the front and back on flip without mirroring anything. And even if we do a really long animation time, something like 5 seconds, you can actually see that it doesn't even show to the user late. I don't know, maybe you can see it, but I don't see it for sure. And so now we got this really nice flashcard module that works perfectly with what we needed. And so that is how you flip a card in SwiftUI.